What is going on, YouTube? PPS here. We are back past the Prop Friday show. You guys know what we're doing. We're coming at you guys for the full weekend of props, plays, spreads. We're coming at you with dogs even on the show here now. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's good, man?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, hey, I just got a comment in my Discord saying that you're the one that's always making us late, which had me cracking up because that is definitely me. I'm definitely responsible for us starting at 1:10 every show, not 1. So I wanted to clear that up off the bat because that actually had me laughing out loud before the show started right here. But no, I couldn't be more than happy. We obviously have a guest right here, as you can see, with Prop Bomb right under us. I'll let him introduce himself in a second, but I do have to say, one of my closest friends in the space, one of the best guys out there, one of the best bettors out there. And I'm super happy that we could finally make this happen after years of trying to get it in the works right here. So welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you guys all for having me. It's been a long time coming. I feel like I've kind of pump faked all of you guys like every single week. Hey, I'm gonna come on. Oh, I don't want to know, but we finally made it happen. So this is gonna be a special episode, and every single play that we give out is gonna be winners here. That's the energy that we got to bring today.
I love it. 6-0. Bring all those. We're gonna hit some long shots even on here as well. And we got to keep Stu's dog run going, man. I was not expecting pre-football year 3 to become a spread betting show, but hey, we've been throwing some dogs out there. Been hitting some darts, and we're on to week 6 already. It's wild how fast it's moving.
Yeah,
no doubt. And I mean, hey, that's what I keep saying on these primetime games. No matter how bad they are, we're going to be way less happy, right, on those random Tuesday nights in the summer when there's one baseball game on all day, right? That's going to be it. So even though some of these games are rough, we still got to enjoy them. And yeah, we got a good slate this weekend.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yes.
And then in 2 weeks after that, hey, we got basketball coming in. Yeah. So if you don't like that Thursday game, you could always go to those TNT primetime basketball games as a substitute.
Yeah, I'm surprised Stu hasn't brought on NBA preseason on here with that degeneracy in here. But hey, we'll keep that on the down low. I'm sure he's just waiting, itching to get that in there. So let's take a look at the chat, guys. And we will get it rolling here. We're gonna have obviously 6 plays in here, so we're gonna have to get after right away. We got Jay Wells, first comment in there. What's good, bros? I'm back. Yeah, dude, nice to see you, man. Hope all has been well. We got Johnny in here as well. Brian saying, hey, let's hit that parlay, man. 6-0. We might as well quit our jobs after this. Hey, I ain't opposed to it, man. I thought Stu was doing that Kevin James picture there. When he oh my God. Dude, I think you did a little. I think you got to turn your hands over if you're trying to do that.
Not quite.
So that's what I thought you were going for. I'm like, oh, a little off on that. That was me. Happy Shador Day. Yes, sir. He is popping in on a Thursday. I'm sure he will be the most bet player in the history of college football tonight, just because he is on a Friday ahead of this huge slate. Got Matt in here. Hope all is going well. Very sharp guy in the chat. We'd love to see it. Steve, Garrett, thank you guys for tuning in. 30 of you guys in here in the first couple minutes. We appreciate you guys. And let's start diving right in. Let's dive right into the slate. First thing we do on the show, Stu, what is the big screen game for you today? Like I say this every week, we don't have to have a ton of bets in it. Just something that you want to watch. The best game that's going to be on your slate. Please no Washington, please.
Yeah, as tempting as that is, I want to see the Seahawks-Bengals game. I mean, to me, I think that because, right, I watched Joe Burrow last week. He actually moved around in the pocket, right? For the first time all year, he looked a little bit mobile. He looked a little bit healthy. I want to know for sure, is he healthy? Is Joe Burrow back? And I think the Seahawks team is actually a pretty good test. And plus, we've seen it all year long. Seahawks love offense. They love these high-scoring games. We saw with that Seahawks-Lions matchup earlier this year. I think that's going to be a great game to watch and a great game to cash some props on as well.
Beautiful. Prop Bomb, what's your spot? What's your big screen game of the week?
Yeah, I have to go and copy Monotone's answer here. I think the Seahawks and the Bengals here, we're going to get a lot of information on both sides here. Are the Bengals for real? Are they finally coming back to what we saw of them in the past? Is Burrow's calf finally healed up? And then on the Seahawks side, like coming off the bye week, what are we going to see out of JSN and Charbonnet? Are they going to be more utilized in the offense now? Normally, that's what it's like for rookies coming after bye. And I mean, their defense looked stellar. Like Witherspoon, I mean, he was all over the field, sacking, interceptions. Like, I'm curious to see, what we can learn from this game in an educational standpoint.
I love that one. Yeah, that game. I got a lot of stuff on Gino and DK in my best ball. I'm very heavily involved in those guys now. But yeah, let me see a little Charbonnet, man. He was such a tank at UCLA. Would love to see him get a little bit more. You guys know I'm a little biased for the offense here, and I'm going to go to the Rams Cardinals. That is the highest total on the slate, 49, sitting there. Obviously. Yeah, it's tough because we got hurt by Mr. Stafford last week. He hurt us a little bit. But no, I mean, can you have a better matchup than this? Can you have a better matchup than the Cardinals? Just watching how well Cooper Kupp moved last week and what Jamar Chase just did to this defense, man. This should be a fun one. And Arizona just finds a way, man. They're just finding a way to stay close in all of these games. And maybe just have to bet Arizona as a dog just because they find a way to keep these games close. 7-point spread. I think Dobbs is coming through, baby. We think we see another cover for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've been high on the Rams all year long, right? I mean, people unfortunately have had to hear it all season about how much I like this team, but this is a big difference in asking them to cover by margin now, right? We've suddenly gone from them as this really tempting underdog. Yeah. It's now what, a 6-7 point favorite against, like you said, a really scrappy Cardinals team. So Cardinals were almost in contention for my dog of the week. Earlier this year, got a little confident with that Colts over 7. So I was thinking of running it back here, but had to reel it in a little bit. But I agree with you. I think that'll be a really good game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It really is kind of shocking just to see the type of sentiment that the Rams have had coming into the season to where they are now. Maybe the line is like that because James Conner is ruled out for the Cardinals. So that could be the case. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is another good information week for the Rams. Like, are they dominant,
Well, yeah, I want to see Aaron Donald just absolutely destroy in this. He's going to kill everybody, dude. He's just going to destroy everybody on that front line. And I know, I think it was you, Stu, talking a little bit about the new running back, Keontae Ingram, a little bit. I saw you on Twitter talking a little bit about him and a couple other guys, smart guys, talking about how he's actually going to be number 1 on the depth chart. Depth chart comes out. He is the one, obviously, coming back from that injury there. But just some dart shots, in DFS or you're in like those 14-team leagues like me, where you're digging off the trash heap, man. There is nothing good down there, but sometimes you got to find a way. So
I'll put it like this. Ingram, like we mentioned before, I'd say he's a better play this week than Antonio Gibson, someone who we've notoriously hated on and gets a Falcons team that's allowing like the least receiving yards in the league to running back. So just a quick example right there of like Ingram, take him over a bum like Antonio Gibson, but don't take him over an actually good player.
Perfect. Let's get a couple questions looking like we have in here. We'll get a couple or get one of them in here before we get into our plays here. Matt bringing up, he's liking Tyler Boyd this week, waiting for those props to drop, obviously coming out of the slot. It's going to be tough to get those until we fully know what's up with T. Higgins. Yeah. I know that they're still talking about.
I think right before they show, they ruled him in. I think
I saw they talked about it, but I didn't know if they like officially said he's good.
Yeah, maybe someone in chat can confirm for us right here, but I thought I saw he was in right before the show.
Ribs to be listed questionable, considered game time decision. So that's kind of what I expected there. So now we get to wait. Now it's the fun waiting game, waiting for those props to drop, and hopefully they do it sooner rather than later. Brian and Ryan bringing up some great stuff in the chat. We will actually be talking about that game and those picks here in a second. But Ryan talking about Kenneth Walker. I guess we'll kick it to you, Stu, to start us off with Kenneth Walker.
Nice transition.
There's a perfect spot there. I think he might. Did you send me 64 or 66?
I sent you 66 because our guy Ryan, got some nice early in the week.
Very nice
right there. But we're still going at this number right here. And to be honest, just like all the running backs we've talked about in recent weeks, this is not a line that's going to end up here. I think we see this close on the other side of 70 so far this season. I'm glad our guy Matt Williams is in here in the chat. He had a really good tweet about just how bad the Cincinnati Bengals rush defense has been so far this year. This is a team that we faded a lot last year. DJ Reader in there on the interior. They were a very strong rush defense, but this year they've changed up the scheme a little bit. They're looking to prioritize stopping explosive plays. And what's the one-to-one correlation of bringing those safeties back, bringing him out of the box, is that's more rush yards available, right? And Kenneth Walker is a guy that is locked into high volume opportunities right here, which is really what we're looking for. Not only is he shown explosiveness, right? But this is a guy that's going to average 17, 18 carries a game for you. That's what he's done in his Seahawks career as a starter so far. And once again, when we see guys go for 17 rush attempts, they're going to cash this number against Cincinnati. Only one running back has really failed. They faced a lot of committees this year, so it's been a little bit more broken up. But obviously, Connor last game had 46, and then DeMarcado came in and had 52, both over 4.5 yards per carry. So even in the stat sheet, you're only seeing 50 and 40 yards. Well, sure, that's a combined 16 carries for over 100 yards right there. And once again, I'm expecting Kenneth Walker to have at least 16 carries. The one running back that missed this, Kyron Williams, at only 10 carries. We've talked about it plenty. That Rams team is trying to throw the ball, right? That offensive line really is not holding up well with them. He only had 10 rush attempts in that game. That was the one running back to really kind of fail to hit this number against them right here. We saw Gus Edwards and Justice Hill both go for 50 yards in that game earlier in the year on great efficiency. It's just not a running back not a team I'm scared of whatsoever in the running game. And they've actually been pretty good on the perimeter. Hey, look what happens when you lose Eli Apple. You get a little bit better. Who knew, right? I mean, the Dolphins will feel that pain in the playoffs, but we got a little bit of time before we get there. But great matchup right here. I have him projected for at least 20 carries in this one. A very efficient runner. He's had a 15-yard run or more in every game so far this season. A guy that I just trust with this volume right here. This should be in the 70s. I would have set this probably 73, 74, and I would not be surprised if that's where it ends up by the end of the week.
I love it. I love it. I love that. Like you said, you love this game. Have you been rolling with Kenneth Walker at all, Prop Bomb, this year? Have you been on that train?
I've definitely been attacking the Cincinnati Bengals rush defense, especially without DJ Reader. Yeah. Have I been on Kenneth Walker? I think I had a prop on him, especially, one time at least this week. Yeah, I've had a prop on his. Yeah, he's a workhorse for the Seahawks.
I love that prop. Obviously, we made some money with them last year before they all the books adjusted there. But me and Prop Bomb will be heading to the same game, same side actually in this one. So transitioning over there, let's get you to start us off here. Your debut pick. Roll with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, it's actually kind of ironic because this was my first pick of the NFL season coming into like everything. Now I'm like 60 props in. So it's kind of like a throwback here. But yeah, it's essentially the same exact matchup he had in week 1. I mean, he absolutely gashed this Colts defense. He had 11 targets, 8 receptions, 101 yards. And a thing about this Colts defense is they're very zone heavy and they play cover 3 a lot. And Ridley is the best on his team in yards per route run. He's number 1. Also, as well as, the Colts just in general, they're giving up a lot of just production to the wideouts, not the slots, the perimeter type receivers that Calvin Ridley is. You look at like the last type of performers, DeAndre Hopkins last week killed them. Nico Collins killed them. Puka Nacua killed them. So I think it's just a common trend for a good reason here. And I honestly think you could ladder up Calvin Ridley for 75 yards. He had the reason why this line is a bit low is because like week 2 to week 5, he was kind of underperforming. He had that everyone was overreacting in week 1 against the same matchup, which he's going to have again. And he got right in London last week against the Bills. The air yards have always been there. It's just like he's just been dropping the balls, and he had a really promising type game last week against the Bills, which kind of puts more confidence that I think he's back, and he's especially without Zay Jones on the team. He's just injured right now. I think there's going to be a lot of chances for Calvin Ridley to rack up a lot of plays, and I like the over 59.5 against the Colts here.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I was going to say, I really like the spot right here. Cover 3 defense is kind of like the play your studs against cover 3, right? When teams sit back in these heavier zones, it gives you opportunity to find your number 1 wide receiver. And we know Calvin Ridley is great at finding those little holes in the zone. That's kind of what he's done his whole career. And like you mentioned, he did it in week 1 already. Right? We already saw it in front of our eyes right here. So I was shocked to see him open in the 50s, especially as, like you said, he opened in the 60s week 1 in the same matchup, right? You're actually
the same exact.
So, yeah, let's take the value right here.
Perfect. I'll be on another guy on the receiving end here, and I'm going to be rolling with Evan Ingram over 4.5 receptions here. I love Evan Ingram. I have him in so much best ball, and he's been great to me in a tough tight end season so far. I actually really like attacking these the tight ends for against the Colts as well. Right, he's giving up back-to-back at least 5 catches. We've seen that against. We've seen that in the last 2 against Okongwu, who hasn't done anything all year, has done absolutely nothing. Got 5 catches there. We've seen Tyler Higbee with 5 catches. We've seen multiple 4-catch performances from these guys, Mark Andrews and Dalton Schultz. And Evan Ingram is an absolute target machine. 8 targets over his last 4 weeks. Every single game has had 8 targets. In the first game, he actually hit this on only 5 targets. He caught all 5 targets in that first game. I think the volume is starting to get there a little bit more. And I love this dude's route tree, bro. If we're looking in full PPR, man, this guy is an absolute monster. This dude doesn't run down the field ever. 5.3 air yards per reception is awesome. We love that, especially on receptions. And I think they're more willing to do that because he's not really, in my opinion, really a tight end, man. He's really, really athletic, phenomenal yards after the catch, one of the best in the NFL for tight ends in that category. And I love rolling with Evan Ingram this week. I think we're going to see enough of those dump downs and maybe break one of those off for a big play here. But I know, Stu, you talked about it on our last show when I picked Evan Ingram as my DFS long shot. They're pretty good against the run. They're tough to run on. And I think that takes away maybe those 20 carries we usually see to ETN, bring them down to 15. If we see a target share that we've seen from Evan Ingram so far this year, a little bit over 20%, I think that we're going to get a couple extra spots there. Maybe we see 10 targets to Evan Ingram. And if you're telling me I only need to catch 50% of those, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I was going to say a 20% target share for a guy averaging 5 air yards per attempt is awesome for receptions, right? That's the perfect recipe. Because when you think about it, right, and when you hear people talk about receptions, at least on this show a lot, even with high-end guys like Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, the reason we love a lot of these guys' receptions is because the offensive coordinator calls up plays to get them the ball immediately, right? Those quick targets behind the line of scrimmage, near the line of scrimmage. And we like those so much for receptions because those are high probability completions. Right? The guy has a much higher catch rate on those easy short passes than the downfield ones. Evan Ingram is perfect for this. He's never going down the field. Like he said, he pretty much looks like the running back waiting for the check down half of the time out there, which, you know, you can argue maybe isn't the most effective from like a strategy standpoint, but it's great for racking up receptions. And I agree with you. Tough run defense, DeForest Buckner, Zaire Franklin over the middle, great tacklers on this team, very disciplined. I love the pass catchers. I'll be playing a lot of Jacksonville and DFS this week.
Yeah, let me add 2 here, guys. I actually don't really like Christian Kirk going into this matchup. He struggled in week 1, and you know, just the Colts in general, how their zone defense is made up is that they're burning a lot of points to the wideouts, but then they're allowing the 4th fewest to the slot position, which Christian Kirk is going to be manning this game. So I think if Christian Kirk is going to be somewhat muted, that's going to open up, like I said, like for my sake, Calvin Ridley, and then for your sake, PPS, those little short A-dot throws for Evan Ingram.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great analysis. We love to hear that, and we like to see that. Christian Kirk everybody was freaking out after week 1, and now we get that same matchup here. So obviously they know what they're doing, trying to stop him. And yeah. I know we've already talked about this game a little bit, but it looks like we'll be talking a little bit more about it in our Dog of the Week section. Let's split up our plays 4, 5, and 6 here. Dogs of the week. Stu, I'm going to kick it to you first because, man, you're on a little heater right now.
I am. We have not lost a dog of the week so far this year. Last week, I changed it up. I went with the Steelers, something I'm not, known for doing. I trusted the narrative, and it worked. Here, I'm doing the same thing with the Bucks. This is the worst line on the board. This is the line that your cousin, that your friend that you kind of know, but you don't know that well, is texting you that the Lions are the lock of the week. You can get them at only -160 on the money line. 3 points for the Lions. These are Super Bowl contenders. And what, the Bucks with Baker Mayfield? Oh my God, nobody's going to be on this Bucs side. This line hasn't moved since I did the opening line report Sunday night. It was 3 then, it's 3 now. You never see that happen with the controversial line unless the sports book is very comfortable with it. And guess what? I was high on the Bucs before the season started. I'm not coming in here telling you guys that Baker Mayfield's going to light the world on fire, but he is a fine game manager. And what we've seen in the NFL right now, especially both me and PPS with young quarterbacks, is sometimes you just want that fine game manager that's not going to turn the ball over and make those, young quarterback mistakes. The defense is looking pretty solid. That they're going to stop the running game, or at least they should have a better chance. I think they cover. I don't know if they can outright win this game, but honestly, that line is kind of ridiculous to me. I know there are a lot of good dogs. You guys are even talking about two of the other good ones right here. But for me, I got to go with this sketchy line. I got to stay true to my instincts. We're going with Baker Mayfield and the Bucs this week, baby.
We love go Baker, baby. I love it. I always love rolling with Baker Mayfield. Prop on, we're staying in that same game for the Colts. Colts plus 4-year spot of the week.
Yeah, I guess I have a lot of exposure in this game and on the show here. But yeah, so the Jaguars are coming back home after 2 weeks in London. I guess it's a home game. I mean, how many days between, I just feel like you got to factor that in, like the travel and everything coming back from London. But I think the most important edge and I'm not really a spreads person myself. I am prop bomb, like for player props, but I would say having Jonathan Taylor more healthier. I think honestly Gardner Minshew is just more pro ready as a quarterback for the Colts than Anthony Richardson is just right now. Love Anthony Richardson in Dynasty, but just like right now, Minshew just he just knows how to work with the wide receivers. And I just think they're going to be moving. I think it's going to be more effective in moving the ball down the field here. And the Colts are sneakily good at stopping the run. So that could also hurt, the Jaguars' efforts in getting Travis Etienne to move the ball down the field. But I guess this is the spread that stuck out to me as far as the dogs for Colts plus 4.
Perfect. I never thought I'd do this, dude. I'm betting on the Bears for a dog of the week. It hurts, but the Vikings can't blow out anybody, dude. Like they truly can't. Now you take away Jefferson, you're going to give me 3 points on the road here. At least these next 2 days here, I don't know if it's going to be that bad Sunday. It's shitty out here. It's wet, rainy. And if it is going to be like that here in the Midwest, I would rather have an offense like the Bears, where you're going to want to run the football. You're going to want to run. I'm not trusting Alexander Madison as far as I can throw him. I don't care how well he's done. I know it's the Bears defense. I know they're bad, but look at the Vikings so far this year, right? They lose by 3 to the Bucs. They lose by 6 to the Eagles. They lose by 4 to the Chargers. They lose by 7 to the Chiefs. Every one of these games is so close, and obviously they won against the Panthers, who they're not great, right? The Panthers are not great. So it's tough for me to think that they're going to win and cover on this one. I'll take the 3 points on the dog at home in this one, coming off of a long week as well, right? You had the Bears win pretty big in primetime. They get that extra couple days. I'll take the extra couple days. I know their coaching staff isn't great. They're not, I wouldn't say good at all, but hey, you got an extra couple days. Maybe you can throw something together here. And obviously losing Jefferson really hurt my fantasy team. So now I'm just hoping that it just bring them back. Just hurry up and get them back. It's a rough offense.
Hey, PPS, do you know if Roschon Johnson is playing for the Bears? Any word on that?
Well, I saw he practiced, but I don't think he cleared it yet. I think he's doing what Jimmy G did 2 weeks ago, where he was practicing but didn't clear, which is like such a weird thing to do because they said, "Oh yeah, we got to participate in practice, but dude, you haven't cleared the concussion protocol, so you can't play." But I'm hoping he clears because obviously I'm a big fan of him and have a lot of exposure to him in best ball this year. In that late round.
So I really like your Bears plus 3. The more that I heard you finally say like your reasoning, because we didn't actually discuss plays going into this. This is a team that had like one of the longest droughts of ever winning a game. You have to expect like the locker room is like pumped up, especially getting out like a cancer like Chase Claypool from the Bears. Like I just feel like they're riled up. I mean, they're gonna get that momentum going into the game. And then like what you just said, Justin Jefferson is a big loss for the Vikings. And can Jordan Addison adapt to being that wide receiver 1? How is he going to adapt to seeing that Justin Jefferson like coverage? We don't know yet. I like Bears plus 3. I like that. I really do agree with you there.
Yeah, and I just want to say I like Jordan Addison a lot. I watched him in college. I watched every USC game last year. He was kind of disappearing against terrible Pac-12 defenses at times, right? Now you're getting like a legit NFL defense.
Yeah.
I like Jordan Addison. He's on a lot of my fantasy teams, so I'm praying he does well this week. But I would not say it would be shocking at all for him to kind of have a dud. And then at that point, who do you really turn to?
Yeah, and I love it that everybody's like just assuming KJ Osborne's going to step up and do this here. But how many games have we seen this year where, I mean, obviously Jefferson was in there, but he's running routes on like every play. He was already doing that, right? It's not like he's going to get more opportunity share, right? Because obviously he's been out there for he's like third or fourth in the NFL in routes run. It's wild. And he's still, obviously I know Jefferson not being there is obviously huge, but you think he's going to get open? You think he's going to get open more? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's not that guy. I'm sorry to say, I've seen enough NFC North football to know he is not I don't know if he's going to be stepping up that much, but maybe he gets those dump offs and stuff like that. But I'll be actually talking about that game in a little bit here as well. We got 47 of you guys in here live. Hit that like button for us. We really appreciate it. Let's get to a couple questions before we get into plays 4, 5, and 6 for the show. Stu, talking about your play here, we got one of our favorites in here, Terrence, bringing up possible rush attempt line for Kenneth Walker. Is that a spot possible for you to be rolling with?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. It's the problem that all three of us go through up here when we like a guy, right? When we like Kenneth Walker, like I said in my analysis, I expect him to clear both rush yards and rush attempts, right? So for me, it comes down to which side do I see slightly more value on? I think there's value on both sides. But for me, with his explosive run profile, with his boom or bust tendencies that we've seen dating back to Michigan State, if the opportunity is going to be there, I think there's a higher chance that I see like a 14 for 70 game log than an 18 for, 42 game log with a guy like Kenneth Walker. So it's a good question. I think you can't really do wrong going either way. But for me, I would have set his line for rush attempts at 16.5, and I would have set his rush yards line at like 74. So I see a little bit more value in my number versus the book's number in this circumstance.
Perfect. And we'll take this question here from a kid named Coop, one of the guys who's been in here a lot with us as well. It'll transition us perfectly into our fourth pick here. I don't do many long shots, guys, unless it's here on the show. But any thoughts here on these touchdown ones? Obviously, hoping that there's a lot of scoring on both sides here. Prop bomb, anything in that Miami game you're thinking about with Mostert without A-Chain?
Are you? Yeah, I mean, I like the Mostert. I like the Mostert touchdown prop. It kind of foreshadows what I like in this Miami game. Let's get right into it then. Tua Tagovailoa. I had this as a featured Action Network player prop article last week. I'm running it back again at two pass attempts lower. Let's go under 32.5 pass attempts. He's actually hit this in 6 of his last 8 games, and he's averaging 31.1 pass attempts. So, as the weeks go on, you start to get more data rolled in. And last week, the Giants were allowing the most rush plays percentage. But this week, now the Panthers are allowing the most rush plays percentage. In fact, they are 32nd in DVOA versus the run, the Panthers are. And this just feels like a game where it's just going to be all Dolphins. They're 15.5 spreads. Like, Tua does not need to throw the ball all 4 quarters. And when you take props and you get to when you're actually watching your props, like, you can find out more information than just like what the box score tells you. And last game against the Giants, Tua was going to probably have like 25 pass attempts, if not what happened the last minute going into halftime here. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I'll tell a quick story. So what happened was that Tua, it was like 14-3. Tua was on the 2-yard line. He passes it. And what happens? A pick six happens. The score would have been 21-3, but the pick six happens. The score, they kick a field goal. And then that forced Tua Tagovailoa to go to a 2-minute drill going into halftime where he had at least like 7 or 8 pass attempts to inflate the box score, which you see now. So, you take that out. This line probably would have been 30.5. So I like the two pass attempt bumps here. And this is just total game script play. I see no chance, just with how Bryce Young looks right now. There's just no chance that they can keep this one competitive with the Dolphins. And, Miles Sanders just got ruled out too. So that you have that.
Yeah, no, I like this spot a lot right here. And two, we kind of talked about it briefly, but like this offense is a quick strike offense, right? They generate explosive plays at the highest rate in the NFL, right? They're trying to get the ball down the field as fast as possible. While a team like Jacksonville, who we talked about earlier, is set up much differently, right? High third down conversion rate. We're running a lot on the first 2 downs. We're slowly moving down the field. That's not how we operate down in Miami. I know you know that. You're in Florida. Hey, everything's faster down there, baby. So I like this spot right here. I really don't see a need for Tua to be throwing the ball. Every game with the Dolphins at this point feels like one that we might see Mike White in the fourth quarter, which is always good for us.
Maybe. Hey, Mike White anytime touchdown. What are the odds on that?
That'll get you to quit your job right there. You hit that one. But no, I think it's also important to throw in too. We talked about everybody's been like really super high on A-Chain. Obviously he's out, but it's not like they're going to have to worry too much bringing in Jeff Wilson. So that doesn't mean we're going to have to pass more, right? Because I know we've had Mostert with injury history in the past, but he doesn't have to bell cow, right? He doesn't have to bell cow this week. He can still split a little bit. Obviously Jeff Wilson coming off helps a ton. Because I know sometimes people think like just because we lose the number 2 back or whatever 1A 1B for them that maybe they'll throw it more often, but you're literally just replacing him, literally just a straight replacement with Jeff Wilson, who's been a quality NFL back for quite a few years now. So it's not like we're taking too many steps down. Obviously A-Chain being super explosive, but Jeff Wilson ain't a slouch either. So
no, people will definitely remember him like come 2-3 weeks later. Yeah, he's still a quality running back for the team.
Beautiful.
My kids
Sorry, Gerardo's dropping in the chat. If the Niners won't cover 3.5, my kids aren't eating this weekend. Hey, well, hopefully that is not the case, but I'm sure we'll find some ramen somewhere, right? You can find that somewhere. But hey, Stu, play number 2 for you as well. Going to another QB under. You guys are just rolling with these. I love it.
Yep, staying in the same game right here. We're going Bryce Young, longest completion under 32.5, -120. We cashed this earlier in the season, and we're going right back. Guess what, guys? It's very hard to find a prop with 100% hit rate at this point in the season. Do you want to know why it hasn't moved? Nobody else cares about this market. Nobody is really betting these. It's like me, Prop Bomb, and like our guy Ben Wobley. Us 3 are the only guys that are even betting this under longest completion market at all. And it's had great value for a guy like Bryce Young. The first stat I want to go to right here is air yards per attempt. Out of all starting quarterbacks in the league, he has the lowest air yards per attempt out of any of them, right? And what do we know about this Miami defense? What is Fangio famous for? He's arguably one of the biggest reasons we are living in the cover 2 era right now, right? Those deep safety looks, keep everything in front of you, eliminate explosive plays, and let them slowly move down the field. That's exactly what Bryce Young wants to do. Guy barely looks more than 5 yards down the field. It's Adam Thielen or throw the ball out of bounds, right? Those are the 2 options right now. It's only Adam Thielen operating over the middle. We talked about it. They don't have the wide receivers to generate explosive plays on their own. You're depending on quarterback play. On some of these other teams, a guy like Tua gets bailed out a lot because of scheme, because of Tyreek Hill. We don't have an option to do that on this team. Is Mingo going to break the 80-yard play? He was a tight end in college, right? I mean, come on, Adam Thielen at 65 years old after one of the most inefficient seasons in football last year. I get he's playing better ball. I don't want to come at him too much. None of these guys are yak generators whatsoever, and their quarterback is only checking the ball down. So when we go look at this air yards per attempt list, we can find some quarterbacks that actually already face this Miami Dolphins defense. Because guess what? Daniel Jones and Mac Jones are right there at the bottom of the list with Bryce Young. Both of those teams have faced this defense. Those guys weren't even able to get a 26-yard pass or more, right? With 7 yards of cushion right here. So we saw 2 very similar quarterbacks in how they approached the offense, and a great defensive matchup right here. Neither of those guys were able to clear it. No offense, Bryce. I see, some potential. I hope you get better. I feel bad for the Carolina fans out there watching, but I would almost trust at this point a Daniel Jones to cash the over more than I would Bryce Young at this point, just because he's simply not looking down the field. If you watch these all 22 film, which unfortunately I've had to do, right? It's ugly. It's really check down or bust in this offense. That's exactly what the Miami defense wants you to do. And that's the number one thing we talk about on the show. It's being on the same side as the coaching staff, right? I don't want to be one of those guys on fantasy football Twitter begging for more carries. I want to be on the same side as the coaching staff right here. And to be honest, the only reason this isn't a bigger play than one unit is because I'm waiting to see what FanDuel does. Because as you guys know, FanDuel loves to release their props 4 days later than everyone else. And they're actually pretty good at posting different numbers. So if I see a 33.5, we're probably going another unit and making this my second 2-unit play of the season so far this year.
Love it.
Yeah, I like it too, Mono. With the longest completions, I tried doing this with Josh Allen's on pass completions against the Dolphins too. The whole the Vic Fangio type, too high safety defense where they put him in the back. I like it, man. I will say though, if I could see any person beating that, it's probably DJ Chark, the guy who gets it. I don't even know. I mean, is he even like being utilized? Like it seems like it's just like Adam Thielen and that's it. You know.
I was gonna say DJ Chark theoretically is the guy that would do it, but like you said, this is a sub 17% target share.
It's a very low odd percent. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once again, when you're playing these cover 2 looks, I would not be shocked if DJ Chark gets a nice 22, 23-yard reception. But asking him to actually beat a Xavier Howard on the outside consistently with these 2 safety looks, just not going to bet on that. No chance.
Sorry, I was not laughing at you, Stu. I promise. I only laugh at you when you talk shit about my boy Kevin Porter Jr. But Gerardo Swain. I just think about it, just seeing those you ever see those pictures of those big head quarterbacks with a little body? That's literally just immediately what popped into my head when I saw those. I started laughing. I'm like, oh my god! I promised you I was not laughing at you. I was thinking.
No, that's
a little crazy. Oh shit, that was good. Gerardo's been bringing in some bangers here, so we appreciate all you guys in the chat. Sticking with us here, and I'm going to be rolling with my last play here. I actually do not know how I'm getting plus money here. Draftkings is giving me TJ Hockenson over 5.5 catches at plus 100. Absolutely love this spot. I think you talk about Jefferson obviously leaving. That's 26.6% of the team target share leaving. Number 2, TJ Hockenson sitting at 20%. Wow, I could not talk there.
Hockey's
a little harder than I thought. Hockenson sitting at 20%. There we go. Obviously, he hit this in the first 3 games of the season, 8, 7, and 8. I throw that Carolina game out. I really do, because they scored that defensive touchdown to go up, and then all they did was start running, and that Carolina team could not stop the run at all. So obviously, you don't expect this Vikings team to score too many defensive touchdowns throughout the season, because they are not very good, but I throw that game out completely. Then you look at their last game, he missed it by 1 in that Kansas City game. So I think we're getting a little buy low spot here, and they're giving me this plus money. Just looking at the Bears against tight ends, Stu's guy, Logan Thomas, 47-year-old tight end, awful. How many? He was our leading receiver, right? He had like 9 catches. He was just getting targeted. Dude, it was crazy. I was watching it. I'm like, what is going on? How is this man just getting continued targets? Then obviously we had Travis Kelce hit it against him. I don't count Denver because I don't think they even have a tight end. Adam Troutman getting 1 target a game. So it's brutal, right? But obviously Hockenson has that ability to be the safety blanket in this offense. I think his ADOT does come down now to be that guy and be that guy that's going to be there for Cousins when there is pressure on him. Air yards wise, he's at 8.6 this year. Not crazy, but a little bit higher than it was last year. He was a really short guy last year underneath on those routes. I think if we're going to see Kirk Cousins throw the ball 35 times, 40 times like he has been, this is by far his number 1 option. His real only guy that has proven himself in the NFL. And he is a top 3 tight end fantasy wise. He always has been since he's moved over here, obviously with the Lions as well. He's proven himself to be a good tight end. And again, I don't trust KJ Osborne. I think I need to see a little bit more from Jordan Addison outside of that big play ability. So if we're moving the ball down the field here, I'll bring up Stu's favorite guy. We're going to put Cam Akers in more? You going to Cam Akers jump off more?
I love Cam Akers.
I like Cam Akers. Stu doesn't. So we're on the opposite side of that one. But I don't think they're going to do that, right? He's not like known to be a pass catching back. Madison does when he's needed to, but I could see those little chips from Hockenson, those little short routes, getting some dump offs there. And if you're going to give me plus 100 on this on DraftKings, I think this should be closing at minus 130. I don't understand how we're getting plus money on this one. And I think Kirk Cousins will be looking his way all day. I won't be surprised to start seeing him get upwards of 27 to 29% of team targets now without Jefferson. So Give me TJ Hockenson. I think this is obviously a great spot against the Bears, who, like I said, got torched by Logan Thomas. That is all you need to hear. Stu, I know I'm talking shit on your boy here. Am I crazy or what?
No, you're not crazy at all. That is very fair. And I completely agree. And you were teeing me up. You got ahead of it right here. But I was going to go. What else is this team going to do? They can't run the ball. They have 2 bottom 10 running backs in rush yards over expectation in the last 2 years in their backfield, right? They saw that they had one of the most inefficient running backs in the league. And they said, I think we need another one of these guys. And that's exactly what they did. And you don't get a guy like him, or you don't get a good running back unless you trade something for him, right? They traded an 80th round pick for this guy. He's going to continue to carry the ball 8 times for 9 yards, along with Alexander Madison's 12 carries for 24 yards. This is a terrible running team, arguably the least talented running back room in the league right now. Miles Sanders getting injured actually probably makes Chuba Hubbard and Raheem Blackshear your only competition. So if you want to be compared to those guys, have fun with that. But the point is they can't run the ball. So what are you going to do on offense? You got to slowly move the ball down the field. Even if we don't trust these outside wide receivers, Hockenson has clearly been a safety blanket all season long. This should not be plus 100. This should absolutely not be plus 100. And spoiler alert, just like with a lot of plays on the show recently, I bet it won't be in the next couple hours. So if you're watching live, get in that early.
Yeah, this was actually a prop that I took myself last week, and I got burned because I got hooked on it. Essentially, I think the reason why it's this 5.5 receptions is just because he finished with 5, but he had 3 or 4 drops last week. And you said it perfectly, PPS. It's just the rapport with between him and Kirk Cousins. Addison, KJ Osborne, Brandon Powell, I guess, they just don't seem trusted. And then, TJ Hockenson, I like it. Yeah. I had a thought, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, you're all good, bro. You're all good. And that's the thing, dude. Who's the, I don't even know. Who's their backup? Munt? I think it's Munt. Is their backup?
Oliver. I think it's Oliver now.
Oh, it's Oliver. He's the
I know I saw that Munt guy got a catch in there for one play when Hockenson went out with that mini injury. But that's what I'm saying, though. If it's you or us three, right? We watch a lot of football. If we can't come up with who their backup is on some of these, that should tell you something. If we can't come up with their wide receiver 3, that should tell you something. They're going to be running this dude every route anytime he gets that opportunity. And like I said, when Kirk Cousins inevitably starts running for his life, it happens. Their offensive line is not great. It's going to Hockenson, right? And we've seen enough 2-minute drills. We could get this on one 2-minute drill, dude. He just gets those dump offs. It's pretty wild to watch, actually, when they're trying to run it quickly. So, yeah, it doesn't hurt that your running backs don't catch the ball that well either. So
Bears Rusty has been low key pretty solid. I mean,
better than their pass
against the Packers and the Commanders. I mean, they have definitely made some offseason improvements compared to last year.
For sure. Let's get to a couple more questions. We had 60 of you guys in here live. We appreciate all you guys popping in here. Hit that like button like always. Oh man, I won't answer this one because I know Stu will come at me for my biases of my boy Zach Wilson, who makes me money. What is your thoughts on Garrett Wilson with Darius Slay and Jalen Carter out at 51.5 for Garrett Wilson with the spoiler alert, the guy who wins you money, Zach Wilson at quarterback home? Any thoughts from either one of you guys? I won't even put my opinion in there because I do have a bias because Zach Wilson has made me money.
This is actually the first time myself knowing that Jalen Carter is out, honestly. I had no idea he was out this game. Yeah, I mean, that definitely helps the pressure, if it maybe Zach Wilson having some more time and therefore having more higher percentage completion passes. But yeah, I like it. I like the Garrett Wilson over. I mean, he's obviously his first read target, right? On the team, the most trusted guy. It's essentially just him and Lazard and a bunch of tight ends, that they rotate. Conklin, the rookie, I forget his name, and the other guy. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Against the Eagles, and of course, you have to expect that they're going to be coming from behind, so that the game script is going to be there.
Terrence sneaking in there with some heat there. He's seen Gerardo getting me to laugh twice on stream here. Terrence bringing his Zach Wilson slays 2 things: completion props and mobs. He's been making completion props for us the last 2 weeks. We love to see that. Yeah, dude, his read progression is Garrett Wilson, run. That's really what it is. And when it's not, it's just, Breece Hall's running for a route. Let me throw the ball immediately over to the side so I don't get hit. Right. So it's pretty funny offense to watch there on the Jets. I don't remember which one of you guys told me with those before the show, 3 minutes before the show, we started talking about this.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. I think me and Mono both liked it. Yeah, this is like, I mean, look, Patriots are probably rock bottom right now. Like, it's not going to get any worse. They haven't scored double-digit points in back-to-back weeks, and they faced really tough competition. The Cowboys, the Jets. I mean, this is a nice, I think, get right spot against the I almost said Oakland, the Las Vegas Raiders. You even saw it for AJ Dillon, right? I mean, AJ Dillon's a guy that is like, is a guy that's just been absolute horrible coming into the matchup, and he got right there. I mean, I think we're gonna see this game be at least closer enough where they can establish the run. I am a little bit worried, just with the usage between him and Ezekiel Elliott. But I think that was just because Ramondre Stevenson was battling an injury last week. I don't know for sure, but I like, 45.5 is a strong lean on the over for me. It actually may be an official play.
Yeah, I was going to say we pretty much agreed on the same thing. I think both of us were kind of really close to pulling the trigger right there. And I will say, you rarely see a guy's like advanced numbers take a split in half as much as Ramondre Stevenson unless they're injured, right? You rarely see that significant of a change in metrics like broken tackles, missed tackles, all that kind of stuff, unless a guy is playing a little bit more injured. For me, this is a sink or swim game for Ramondre Stevenson. It's either do or die. He puts up this week or you're done for the rest of the season. Because like you said, his snap share has slowly been going down with Ezekiel Elliott slowly been going back up, which is a little bit concerning. But I agree. Every running back has crushed this. I mean, A.J. Dillon had 70 rush yards, and it has the lowest explosive run rate of any running back since entering the league, right? So for me, it's one of those situations where it's bad rush defense. It's just, man, trusting the Patriots is so freaking hard right now.
He's just been a victim of unfortunately, how the Patriots have played this season. They've had a really tough schedule. I just happened to look back at who they've played. They've played the Eagles, who have a really tough run defense. They played the Cowboys, really tough run defense. The Saints, really tough run defense. The Jets, I mean, they're not really tough, but like they're at least above average. He really hasn't had like an easy spot like today. So this is like a get right spot, in my opinion.
I didn't know I was going to come in here for that AJ Dillon slander, and I love it.
You're the Packers guys,
I love
right?
it. I love it, dude. I hate AJ Dillon. I really do. I think he's terrible. He is a fullback. That's what he is. So you guys are making me feel so much better about how much hatred I have for that man. And hopefully Aaron Jones, get better, dude. I don't want to watch AJ Dillon ever be a bell cow.
You don't want to watch him do the whole like farming thing or whatever that's been. You guys see that?
You should be running out and doing some fucking sprints, bro. I don't need to watch you run 2 yards behind our line and then fall over, bro. That's literally what he does every single play, which is what a fullback does on 2-yard carries. That's what you're supposed to do. And it's Stu, I blame you for mentioning the name AJ Dillon and just riling me up because you knew it was going to happen when I hear that name. It's just like chalkboard, right? We have fingernails on chalkboard when I hear that name. But we have a guy that I know you guys have been rolling with so far this year in a pretty decent matchup. We like these pass funnel spots. Zay Flowers in the early game, facing off against Tennessee, 56.5 over on FanDuel. Either of you guys have a lean on here at all on the spot?
Yeah, for me, Zay Flowers is one of those guys that he keeps cashing, and I keep staring at it and going like,
"Me too,
why did I bet that?"
Me too.
You know?
Yeah, likewise.
It's one of those. The problem I will say, though, is everyone is putting up those graphics of wide receiver ones against Tennessee and how well they've done. He's not really a traditional wide receiver one, right? Zay Flowers' route tree does not really represent any of those other guys you're comparing them to when you put out those graphics. So I will say, be a little bit cautious when you see stuff like that. But I mean, he is kind of the clear here. At least he's half of the number one target with Mark Andrews. I would say it's a 1A, 1B situation right there. But yeah, Tennessee, extreme pass funnel. Lamar Jackson was the highest rated PFF quarterback last week. It just so happened that 8 of his incompletions were drops, right? Zay Flowers was falling down half the time he was targeted. So we have to think that would have that, wide receiver room fired up. I'm sure that's been on the TVs all week long, and I'm sure those guys aren't going to let that happen again. And yeah, it's a perfect matchup against Tennessee. So nothing negative to say about this one.
Yeah, Zay Flowers has, in my eyes, become the alpha wide receiver this early on in the season. I will caution, though, that Bateman and Odell were just coming back. I mean, you give them 7 more days of more health. Maybe they get more involved in the offense. But yeah, just like what Mana was saying, Zay Flowers is just the guy that I always look at. I probably spend an hour every week looking if I'm going to take this line or not. And I never do it for some reason. Maybe it's just because he's a rookie. I don't know.
I think it plays in. I think it really does. The young, the inexperience. And I mean, how do we even factor in OBJ? This guy's getting injured in every single game. Do you see the quarterback shit talking him?
I don't know if he was injured last game, actually. I think he just had to use the bathroom. That's what I'm hearing. But
but again, coming back to what Stu said before, when we talk about we want to be on the same side as the coaches, right? In that first half, they're going to run the ball for about 2 yards a pop against the Tennessee front because it is nice. It is a really good front seven. It's very hard to run on these guys.
They have some injuries, though. We were talking about it before the show. Just keep an eye out. Tyler Tart, who's their number 1 guy in rush stop percentage, is not playing this week. So keep an eye on that. That could be a sneaky spot where the run defense could actually be a little bit weaker. So just keep an eye. But go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, you're good. It's just I haven't seen enough design runs for Lamar. I think I need to see a little bit more of that for me to want to think that they're going to not chuck this ball around because we've seen Tennessee get torched outside of a broken leg. Joe Burrow trying to play against these guys. They've been that's how they give up all these points is through the pass game. But yeah, I don't count Joe Burrow's game against that. I shouldn't have played him. That was my fault. I shouldn't have played him. I cursed him, and he did not come through on that one there. Let's take a look. Paul, bring it up here before we get to our long shots. We'll get to a couple more of these, and then we'll go to long shots. Can we trust Justin Fields over 200 passing yards versus Minnesota? I know me and you, Stu, have talked a little bit about this one. You gonna roll with that at plus 110?
I mean,
it is low. That is very low.
Well, I'm going to talk about this in a couple of minutes. But yeah, I would. I definitely would. I think Minnesota's a bad defense. I think the one concern in my mind for this game, the reason I'm going with a long shot rather than a straight bet is because Minnesota without Justin Jefferson, I'm worried their drives are a lot slower and the pace of this game slows a little bit more down than I'd hoped, right? Because theoretically, this Minnesota defense is awful. And Justin Fields has just bodied 2 bad defenses in back-to-back weeks. So I would expect him to kind of come in and do a similar thing here. I just am a little bit worried that the pace of play might get a little bit slowed down. Maybe Minnesota is a little bit less efficient on the offensive side of the ball. And then it just kind of creates an uglier game script overall. But no, I would lean over. I'm surprised it's plus money. And yeah, I like the spot.
Yeah, I really have no opinion over or under on this, honestly. But it is definitely encouraging the DJ Moore connection that he has with DJ Moore for those yards after carries and just how the offense looks right now going into this matchup for sure.
Perfect.
Ryan had mentioned the chat, James Cook, if you want to highlight that one.
Yep.
Yeah, another good get right spot, I think, in my eyes too. Just like Ramondre Stevenson, completely out game scripted last week in London against the Jaguars. I think they stacked the box against him. And then the Dolphins, he couldn't really do anything against them. But yeah, I mean, against the New York Giants, with Tyrod Taylor throwing and that whole shtick, everything. But and I mean, just against the Carolina Panthers, they give up a lot of yards against the run. Nice spot for him to get back going to where he was earlier on in the season.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was James Cook missed me by 2 yards on his rushing receiving that 1 week. But other than that, this is a pretty hefty spread. So you expect to see a lot of the run game. Please, I don't want to watch anymore Latavius Murray run 4 yards into a back again. So yeah, give me some James Cook. Get some explosive plays in there. Let's start seeing that a little bit more. Let's do a quick recap. We're into this does not feel like we've been in here for an hour. We're at 55 minutes. We got 58 of you guys still with us an hour into the show. We appreciate you. We're going to go through a quick recap for some of you guys that weren't in here before. We'll recap all those, and then it's time for some long shots. We're going to be shooting some darts out there and hoping we can stick one. Stu, we'll start with yours, and then we'll head down the line here.
Sounds good. Starting out my favorite play of the week right here. We're going Bryce Young, longest completion under 32.5, minus 120 over on DraftKings. And if FanDuel puts a higher number up, if they give us a 33, even a 32 at plus money or something, we're going another unit back on that one. I love the spot. Then we're going Kenneth Walker, over 66.5 rush yards. That's minus 110 on every book right now. Mostly I got it on DraftKings, bet 365, MGM. And yeah, we love them against a bad rush defense in the Bengals.
All right, prop on your 2 spots.
Yeah, so for me, it's Tua Tagovailoa under 32.5 pass attempts against Bryce Young's Panthers, like the under on that one. And then for the next one, I like Calvin Ridley, over 59.5 receiving yards with some sprinkle on ladders if you're interested in that.
Love it. We love those ladders here. We love them on the show. I'll be rolling with my guy, TJ Hockenson, over 5.5 receptions at plus 100. And, hey, give me that 5-8 out, baby. We love that. Evan Ingram, over 4.5 receptions at minus 120. Whew. Hell of a show, guys. Hell of a show. Let's get to it. Let's get to our long shots. I will pull this up. Stu, what are you rolling with here for our first long shot of the show?
Yeah, we just talked about it a second ago. I like Justin Fields, 250 passing yards at plus 430 over on FanDuel Sportsbook, right? You're getting plus 430 for a number that he's hit in back-to-back weeks against a bad defense and hit by more than 30 yards, right? I understand a lot of people are obviously looking down on the Broncos defense. That's fair. But arguably, I'd say the Washington defense, even with everything we've considered, is still a better defense in most advanced metrics. In every single advanced metric than the Vikings, right? They're clearly a better defense than the Vikings. This is not a unit that you want to be trusting right here. And at the end of the day, Justin Fields' ladders just provided some value right here. I see a competitive game script. I think both teams are going to be in it. Neither team is good on the defensive end, right? That's kind of the one good thing. I mentioned being a little concerned about Minnesota slowing the game down. The Bears defense is so freaking bad that is that a bet you want to make? Do you want to bet on the Bears defense to slow anyone down? I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. I think there'll be a lot of opportunity. I just think 430 is just a flat out bad price. How often can you get that on any kind of quarterback, right? Any quarterback in the league. It's mostly the Colt McCoys, the super career backups kind of guys. Justin Fields is a very viable passer right here. So, and to match with it, I'll be going DJ Moore as well. That's his number one target. If he's going 250, I'd have to imagine DJ Moore's going for 100 himself. So I think both of those guys are definitely worth some ladder looks today.
Beautiful. Prop bomb. What is your long shot here?
You could type it in because it wasn't available when we were talking, but now it finally is. Let's do Jeff Wilson, last touchdown scorer, plus 850 at 365. You could write that in there. Yeah, I mean, this game is just going to be a blowout. Jeff Wilson's coming back from the IR here. We saw how running backs do just historically versus the Panthers. They just really bad in red zone stopping. And if the game is out of hand and Wilson, they need to get him going. Perfect time to do so with a last anytime touchdown at the end of the game as the last one.
Beautiful. We love that. I know Stu was rolling a last touchdown. That's the first time I've seen someone bet a last touchdown. I'm going to be boring, guys. I think I'm going to be boring. I'm going to talk about the guy that I just talked about as my favorite play of the week, and that is TJ Hockenson. Again, seeing those guys just open them. Talk about that. Hockenson just opened. They just gave me 10 receptions at plus 680. They didn't give me any of those receptions. They literally just dropped about 2 minutes ago. I don't understand this one. We've already seen him have double-digit targets this year with Justin Jefferson, and I love fading this Bears defense. This Bears defense is so horrendous. If I almost got it with Logan Thomas, he had 9 catches last week, and now we're going to get a guy here significantly better quarterback. Sorry, Sam Howell might be better later, but hey, right now it's Kirk time, baby. Let's do those dump offs. Let's get a couple 2-minute drills. We want to see that from TJ Hockenson and Kirk Cousins there.
Yeah, no, this is a good number right here. Obviously, we've seen Hockenson do this with Justin Jefferson in his career. Now you open up a 30% target share, 30% air yard share. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. So, yeah, I like that we're in the same game. Let's just hope for some offense in that one.
this is probably the game that could literally go either way. Like this could be like one of the worst games ever to watch, or this could be like really, really fun to watch. It could be like 70 points or like 12. Like that literally is what I can see in this game. So many different outcomes, but that's the ones where you want to hit these long shots, right? Rather have that than betting on Fields. What's his straight line? Like 180 or 190 for passing yards? Might as well go all the way up. Might as well roll with those long shots in that one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good ones this week. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I was sitting here. I was like the 49ers defensive touchdown against PJ Walker.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I mean, we saw what DTR did, obviously, in there. I know it's a little bit of an upgrade, obviously, still, but damn, best defense in the league. Pick six machines over there, and you're feeding PJ Walker to that beast. Just something to keep in mind. I saw plus 450. I was hoping for a little bit better, but I think that's still a pretty solid long shot as well if you're looking for a defensive touchdown score out there.
Love it. Well, I think we just hit that hour mark. That is our cue usually. So, Stu, what do you got for the people before we head it out there? We'll obviously give Prop Bomb his shouts and give him his floor to hype some stuff up. But what do you got, Stu?
Yeah, no, make sure to obviously drop any comments, any questions you have below. We are here 24/7, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, past the prop at 1 p.m. EST. We're here to answer your questions, whether it's Twitter, which are all listed right here, or it's in the comments, or it's in Discord, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, make sure to keep liking the video, obviously. Doesn't mean shit to you guys. It does mean a lot to us, right? I say this all the time. I didn't like a single fucking video for 10 years before I started a show. Now I'm liking every single one. I even comment like, I like this because I know it helps, right? So we would appreciate all that kind of bullshit that you guys could, take a second to do. Yeah, I think we got some great plays out here. I'm super pumped. Prop Bomb joined us for the show. Hopefully it's the first of many.
Yeah. Look, guys, I've been a fan since you guys first started. Definitely overdue on my end. I love what you guys do. I mean, you're both you guys are very passionate in your takes, and you actually don't just talk about the stats. Like you talk about the narratives. You go in depth with it. And as a fan, as any fan that watches it, they should appreciate that. And yeah, definitely subscribe. Like if you're watching for the first time here. And yeah, I guess I'll do a quick plug on my end.
Oh, yeah,
I just created a Discord. It's right now for football only $15 a month. It's 50 cents a day. I have it linked right now on my X account. I always say Twitter by default, but X account. And you'll see every single one of my plays that are not just on the show for week 6. And hopefully, I'm back on for basketball. I'm excited for that too.
Oh yeah, we're one of those shows. We go year round, man. This is year 3 football. We've been rolling obviously NBA and MLB. The MLB ones, those are tough. Right? We're rolling. We're grinding, and that's
I learned my lesson with baseball, just not for me.
It is a grind, that is for sure. So again, thank you, Prop Bomb, for popping on. We'll definitely make sure to get you on here for hopefully another NFL and some NBA, because we'll be coming at you with those as well.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow Prop Bomb. We have his Twitter link in the description of this video. Make sure you do that. Make sure you go check out all of his other plays as well over on Twitter. And again, guys, hit that like button on the way out. We really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Still 50 of you guys in here an hour later. We appreciate all that support. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck in week 6.